Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here with my next Let's Play, Shining Force 3 Scenario 2. We knew this was coming. I did the translation for Scenario 1 for the newest translation patch for the Shining Force Translation Project, version 17, and I figured if I'm doing that, I'm going to do Scenarios 2 and 3 for this as well, to give the complete story for this, again, in better quality. You know, I've grown as a Let's Player. Got better, got better at recording, got better at, giving commentary. At least I like to think a little better at giving commentary. But, either way, I have to do the whole story. I've got to show off the whole thing. And this is really exciting for me because this is only my second time playing through the entirety of Scenario 2. So, I'm really looking forward to playing this again because it's going to be a huge refresher on what an amazing story Shining Force 3 has, because we only get to see the first part of it, which is very political, but Scenarios 2 and 3, a lot of improvements were made, both to, graphics and presentation, but it also kind of brings the story together more so in Scenario 2. It's like, oh yes, there's some political intrigue going on, but there's also, the world is in danger. We should probably look into that as well, because, that's kind of a key factor. So I'm really excited to be playing this. I'm kind of excited to see what translation changes have been made for version 17, because one of the biggest ones that when I was told about really got me kind of teary-eyed, and it's right here, here on the title screen. And this is actually a special version. This is translation version 17.5, the MarauderEX edition. The folks at the translation project were really happy about my Let's Play, and they've been really awesome about promoting it and having people come to the channel and check out my stuff. And the fact that I just keep saying their praises, they're like, you know what, we're gonna give you a look into what some things are gonna happen for version 18. It's not completely finished, but what they have for this is going to be unique. I don't know if 17.5 is going to be released to the general public, or if it just went out to, a handful of people. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know they took the time and effort to make the special title screen for me, and I got kind of teary-eyed about that, I'm not going to lie, because they know my history with this game, and there is a lot of history and a lot of drama surrounding Shining Force 3. Between the fact that we never got Scenarios 2 and 3, the fact that it's taken fans to have to translate it for fans to be able to play it, and it's been 15 years, over 15 years in the making, and then there's all of the drama with, Sega and how they've treated the Shining series, and how the director of the Shining series has kind of lashed out at Western fans, and a lot of misunderstandings between, and then the Sega attacking Shining series content on YouTube, and I'm known more for that. I'm known because my name was put out there for that, but this actually makes me feel like I'm part of this series, I'm part of this legacy in a much more positive way, and that really kind of touched me, and I'm really glad to have this opportunity. So, we are going to start Scenario 2, which, the best part about this is we already know what happens in Scenario 1, but we get to see a lot of the story from a completely different perspective, and things that we didn't get to see in Scenario 1. It's like, what was Medion doing in between the times that we got to, interact with him? That's what we're actually going to see. And like I said, it's going to bring a lot more to the world of Shining Force 3. And we have 4 options: continue, begin, copy, erase. If you choose begin, it's going to ask you, would you like to continue your adventure from Scenario 1? And yes, we are. And it's going to pick your complete save file. So it's not going to, if you don't have one that has not beaten it, I don't think it'll actually connect. But we have beaten it, we have a complete save file, so we can use that one. And now all of the sync points that we affected in Scenario 1, it'll have that data for our playthrough here in Scenario 2. So everything we picked up that Medion might have a chance to pick up, like any of the treasures in Saraband that we were able to pick up as Symbios, they won't be here as Medion, or anything that we missed as Symbios will be here for Medion's playthrough. And then things like the sync points at the railroad battle, saving the refugees, that's going to come into play here. The volcano with the baby dragon, that'll come into play, because we made those specific decisions. Now the game has that data, and we will be able to use that. If you choose no, it'll just start off the story as if you were playing a fresh playthrough, and I guess it assumes... I don't know what assumptions it makes for those particular sync point choices. I don't know what the defaults are for them, but we now have a very set path, but we have to save the future. Put our path right back on track. Starting off Chapter 1, the Third Prince's journey begins. So... just like Scenario 1, it starts off zooming in on the floating city of Saraband. Oh, this gave me such goosebumps the first time I played. I'm like, I can't believe I'm playing Scenario 2 in English. And we get to see Medion's force here on the docks, and there's a masked monk. He seems to be creeping along, hiding in the shadows for some sort of nefarious plot, I'm sure. And we've got Sir Campbell. You appear to be lonely, Prince Medion. What is on your mind? And that's the best part, is now that we are Medion, we don't get to see what Medion says, which I think is a little silly, especially at the points where it's going to be Medion meets Symbios, because we're not going to know, like, we already know what he says in that specific situation, like, we know his actual dialogue, but we're not going to see it because it's going to be the ellipses. But we're going to see Symbios' dialogue that we did not get to see, and we just had to kind of infer before. So, it's an interesting thing. So, and Medion's thinking about his mother, Lady Melinda. Although she appeared a little weary, she's still as beautiful as ever. She said, I'm worried about Medion. I'm waiting for the day he completes his military exploits and we can live happily together. That's what she wanted me to tell you. And now they're both just kind of staring off. And we've got Synthesis. What's going on? How's Sir Campbell doing? Uryudo, not good. Prince Medion still looks down, and now Sir Campbell does too. The two are like brothers. No one understands the prince better than Campbell. Oh, by the way those two look, it appears I won't be able to enjoy the sights of Saraband now. You feel lucky to be in this floating city to begin with, and not in Balsamo with most of the other Imperial armies. The only reason we're here is because Prince Medion's father, His Majesty the Emperor, allowed us to participate in this expedition. But this puts Prince Medion in a difficult position. If we are seen wandering around the city doing nothing, it'll give the other princes' armies an excuse to speak ill of us. Speaking of which, I don't like the other princes. Just because Medion's mother is not of the aristocracy, his brothers treat him bad. It's not fair. Not only his brothers, but the other generals treat him and his mother the same way. That's because they're jerks. There's not much we can do about it. Unfortunately, it's difficult to change opinions. Uryudo, that is the smartest thing anyone has ever said. Ever. Medion is a splendid prince, but if they didn't want him to participate in this peace conference, why are we even here? Since the armies of Prince Erwant and Prince Majoron are guarding the Imperial District, the Medion army has nothing to do. It's a shame we aren't needed. Yes, it's a shame, but gives us the chance to keep our eyes on the Republican soldiers. What's that smell? It smells like gunpowder. Strong odor of gunpowder. Why would there be gunpowder at the loading dock? Damn, our secret's been revealed. Except it wasn't. If you didn't just say that, we would have just been like, why is there gunpowder here? Not, hey, there's a masked monk with some sort of nefarious plot. Walking around in broad daylight wearing a mask? No, that's not suspicious. Uryudo is kind of a snarky bitch. It's fantastic. Masked monks? Now where have I heard that before? Unfortunately, you found our secret gunpowder stash, so now you must all die. I won't let you spoil our plans. Are you one of those Republicans? I don't know what you're up to, but we will not allow you your devious plan. Prince Medion, Sir Campbell. To arms, we're being attacked. Prince Medion's army? No need to give pity then. You're better off dead than alive anyway. Considering the future of the Destonian Empire, you're going to die sooner or later. Do not resist, I shall give you a swift death as a last mercy. How about no, Scott? I thought it was funny enough to wear such a strange mask. Now his boasting is even more laughable. Prince Medion, they don't stand a chance. Use the boxes to split up the enemy and we'll defeat them easily. Alright. So as you've noticed, there's been a lot of little upgrades in Scenario 2 already, like the fact that a lot of the battles, or non-battle sprites, have more animation to them, like Campbell pulled out his lance and started twirling it around. So that's one thing. The next thing is we have not a lot of enemies. Like 4 masked monks in addition to this guy showed up. We only have to deal with 2, and then 3 bats. This guy does not actually count. He's not technically in existence. Then we also have a priest, who's technically not in existence. But let's take a second to look at our force. We've got Prince Medion, Swordsman level 1, HP of 12, MP of 8, attack of 12, defense of 6, agility of 7, luck of 5, movement of 6. Support of attack, just like Symbios. He's Symbios, except he's a little more beefy in this game, because he has the same abilities and basically the same magic. Defense, which if you've noticed, the defense is actually listed as words instead of symbols, which is a little easier to understand, you know, my opinion, but a little bit easier to tell, because, you know, I don't have to sit there and try to be like, okay, what symbol's what. But it's because he starts off with a rapier, and he starts off with the epee. And one thing that was not really programmed in Scenario 1 is a lot of weapons have secondary properties of, like, holy, demon, things like that, that actually affect damage output. And rapiers are actually very, very strong against masked monks. Medion's actually my strongest unit in this fight, because of how much damage he can do to the masked monks. You'd think Campbell, because he's got a lance, but no, it's going to be Medion. So we've got that, and that's really all there is to Medion. Let's take a look at Campbell. Knight, level 1, HP of 13, attack of 14, defense of 7, agility of 6, luck of 5, movement of 7. His support is Succumb. Magic resistance, 5 spark to wind. Comes equipped with a bronze lance. Nothing to write home about at the moment, but he'll get a little bit better. Synthesis are analog to Mascarin. Magician level 1, HP of 9, MP of 7, attack of 8, defense of 5, agility of 7, luck of 6, movement of 5, support of magic. And her magic defense is actually quite impressive. 20 fire, 15 dark, 10 everything else. And it starts off that she's got higher magic defense to fire because she has Blaze 1, but I actually think she specializes in dark magic, and actually as such becomes incredibly dangerous toward the end of the game. Much more so than Mascarin did. Which is a little entertaining to me that Synthesis is Synthesis and Mascarin have very interesting personality traits that if you didn't know any better, you could probably think they were sisters. It's actually really entertaining. Comes equipped with a wooden rod just to start. She's going to be fun. And then we've got Uryudo, who is our analog to Grace. Priest level 1, HP of 10, MP of 10, attack of 10, defense of 6, agility of 4, luck of 6, movement of 5. His support is magic defense and luck up. Comes with heal level 1, 20 light resist, negative 5 dark resist, and 15 everything else. So he's actually going to be real entertaining as well. I think Ankhs are his strongest weapon as well. Not 100% sure on that, but I will look into that. And then the next thing we're going to do is I should look at the enemies. We have Bats, HP of 11, movement of 6, attack of 9, defense of 6, agility of 7, luck of 1. And then we have Masked Monks, HP of 14, movement of 6, attack of 9, defense of 6, agility of 5, luck of 3, carrying a scimitar. And then we've got the main guy up here, which we can't attack. So we only have, really, 4 enemies. 1, 2, 3, 5 enemies. Okay, so we want to be careful about how we do this, because there are some hidden treasures in this map. We've got, obviously, a treasure chest there that's going to have a fairy powder inside it that I can't seem to focus on because it's automatically rubbering to the nearest enemy, which is obnoxious. So we've got that treasure chest there. We've got, in that barrel, we're going to have a medical herb, and in that barrel, we're going to have health bread. So we're going to make a break for those, so we can get all those items as quickly as possible. And we're going to get kind of cut off there. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it's fine, because I have a healer, and I'm not terribly worried about the damage that these things are going to do. Also, if you've noticed, the camera for attacks have kind of been upgraded. It's way, way more cinematic than it was previously. Alright, I'm going to break that so I can get the treasure. I'm not at all worried about the enemies in this fight. Alright, I will, however, back off just a little bit, so... because I am a little worried about Synthesis dying, but if she takes 2 more hits, which she probably will... I think only one of those bats will be able to reach her. And one of them's going to go after Medion. That's okay. Whatever. And counterattack. Alright, let's go after this. We'll get that item. I wanted to say that you could control the camera for combat, but I don't remember what trick you have to do for that, so... but either way, not terribly worried. I can take out this group of people rather quickly. And I'm going to. Alright, let's... oh, I can only... okay, that sucks. Alright, let's heal Synthesis so that she doesn't die, because I would really like for Synthesis not to die. And then before I kill everything else, I need to get the health bread, because that's really the treasure that we want to make sure we get. And probably need to heal Medion, but that's fine. We'll kill the bat. Alright, that's... Yeah, I'll go ahead and move Synthesis, because, okay, you're gonna chase after him, that's alright. You want Synthesis. I don't know why you want Synthesis to die. But we're about out of time for our first episode, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode here, and we will finish off the fight, getting the last treasure, and getting the dialogue after, or getting the last 2 treasures, excuse me, and then getting the dialogue at the start of the next episode. So I will see you guys in the next installment. Till then, later everyone.